Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of the Hangar Talk podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the F-4 Phantom. Now, the F-4 Phantom is one of my favorite airplanes. I've seen it fly, or I saw it fly once during the Miramar Air Show back in 2016 as I was heading in to the Friday show. It was a really awesome aircraft. It was a loud aircraft and a great piece of aviation history. It was one of the static displays at that air show. It was a really fun show, and I'm heading out there this year, so I can't wait to be heading back. So the F-4 Phantom was a aircraft used by the United States Navy during the Vietnam War. Its engine type is a General Electric J79. It was introduced on December 30th, 1960. Its wingspan is 38 feet. Its first flight was May 27th, 1958. Its top speed is 1,473 miles per hour. Its designer was David S. Lewis, and its manufacturers were McDonnell Douglas and Douglas Aircraft Corporation. Those were the manufacturers that built the airplane. And it was built in 1959 for the United States Navy. The aircraft's for the U.S. Navy for the Vietnam War. The aircraft set a new low-altitude speed record, reaching 902 miles per hour at 125 feet. That was a world record that aircraft reached. I don't know the date. It never said what date it had. The aircraft is worth approximately $325 million today, so it is available for civilian use, like the A-4 Skyhawk and many of these old like Vietnam-era World War II aircraft that are available, including the L-39. The L-39 is another civilian aircraft you can purchase. It's a really great one, too, and yeah. So the aircraft's biggest advantages were its acceleration as well as thrust during air combat during Vietnam. During Vietnam, like when it was dogfighting the MiGs, the MiG-21 fish beds during World War II during Vietnam, and then all the other fighters that were Vietnamese during the Vietnam conflict at that time. So it was a highly maneuverable aircraft. It was actually one of the most popular aircraft during Vietnam War, during the Vietnam, just because of its air combat and its tight turn radius to help defeat the enemy aircraft during World War II. The aircraft had a range of 1,750 miles or 2,816 kilometers. The aircraft was retired because it was heavy and lacked maneuverability. There are only a few dozen F-4s left out of 5,195. Approximately a dozen aircraft are still flying. The aircraft was replaced by the U.S. Air Force F-15 Eagle and the F-15 or F-16 Fighting Falcon, or commonly known as the Viper. That is used today in many conflicts, as the F-16 is one of the popular aircraft that is used right now and today. So the Blue Angels actually flew this aircraft, as so did the Thunderbirds. By the end of the 1960s, the Blue Angels were flying this aircraft. But unfortunately, there was a lot of mishaps involving the F-4. There was an air collision over New Jersey, and that forced the U.S. Navy Blue Angels to switch from the powerful F-4, which was a very powerful aircraft, very fast and very agile, to the slower, less powerful A-4 Skyhawk, which was used for the only two-seater aircraft, or actually the only two-seater aircraft in the Delta formation, which was number 5 and 6, which was all 6 aircraft flying together. In 1974, the Douglas A-4 Skyhawk eventually were flown by the United States Navy Blue Angels because of its tighter turn radius, and it developed a better It developed a better show for the Blue Angels back then. And the Thunderbirds also used it too. During like the 60s and 70s. After like the Vietnam War was like slowly ending and stuff like that. So that was our F-4 Phantom episode. We hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure to like and subscribe. Share the podcast with your friends and people who are interested in aviation. And we'll see you guys next week here on the Hangar Talk podcast. So long for now, everyone.